Good morning, I am WaywornWyrm, and welcome to my channel. And welcome to this reading of the Daily Herald, Volume 10, Issue 94, published daily, edition April 4th, 2010. Earthquake in Dakana by John Fitzpatrick. Late last night, a large earthquake shattered the reclusive African nation of Dakana. Reports are scarce on the magnitude of the damage to the nation, and so far the Dakanians have refused all aid, as is normal for them. This event marks the sixth such earthquake to hit the small nation in 12 years. Readers are encouraged to go to the Decanian consulate in city center to offer what aid you can. Let us show these long-suffering isolationists the benefits of the modern world. Hatari Arrests by Marco Dean. Over the last few days, 9 people believed to be a part of the Hatari militia have been arrested in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana for an alleged plot to kill police officers using explosives and/or firearms. These arrests were most likely a joint operation between the FBI and Aegis. It is currently unknown if their so-called plans were any more than idle talk, and as of yet, there is no information on who or when or where this supposed attack was supposed to happen. John Forsyth by Graham Gladwell. New Jersey's own John Forsyth died on Thursday, April 1st. He is best known for his work as the eponymous Charlie in Charlie's Angels. In the 1980s, he also worked on the show Dynasty on ABC. Outside of acting, he is best known for his hobby of thoroughbred racing, and sat on the council of Hollywood Park Racetrack. He died of pneumonia at home, and is survived by his wife and 3 children, as well as extended family. Tragedy strikes in Wharton Forest. Prison guard group attacked in Wharton State Forest during search for escapee. By Jane Zillard. As we reported yesterday, an inmate from South River State Penitentiary escaped the prison and is believed to be hiding in Wharton State Forest, most likely in the area of the South River Swamp. Currently, members of the prison staff, the FCPD, the U.S. Marshals, and the Forest Service are combing the forest looking for the inmate. As such, the state forest remains closed to the public at the moment. Late last night, one of the groups of prison guards that is currently out looking for the inmate was attacked. They were in a part of the South River Swamp a few miles past Haponic Hill when they claim a large alligator attacked them. According to their claims, this alligator was the size of a person and stood on its hind legs. They say that the alligator charged out of the forest, lunging at one of the men. Luckily for the guard, the alligator missed his head and snapped down right next to the man's face. In the ensuing fight, 3 guards were killed, as well as most of the guard dogs that were accompanying the men. The men were armed with rifles and used branches from nearby trees as improvised weapons. After a long struggle, they managed to drive the creature back into the swamp before retreating themselves. Almost all members of the group are currently in local hospitals in various conditions, with one of them still listed as in critical care. It is unknown what the creature they faced could be. There are some who theorize that it could be an epihuman, possibly one driven mad by its transformation. Price of Freedom by Cecilia Rogers. Freedom City Police Commissioner Alquist's major contribution to the safety of Freedom City is his Price of Freedom Squad. As epihumans have surged in number in the past couple of years, the FCPD needed a new force to be able to counter these reckless individuals. They are a fast response unit that is trained and equipped especially for epihuman containment and capture, whether it is for violence or for a casual disregard for the MORE Act. The Price of Freedom Squad will be there. The squad is led by Captain Al Miller, a former soldier who won the Medal of Honor, among many others, during a former soldier who won the Medal of Honor, among many others, in Operation Desert Storm during the First Gulf War. Miller has been making his way through the ranks of the FCPD since 1994 when he left the Marine Corps. Martin Sandberger by Alexander Gies. As we sit down today and celebrate Easter Sunday, we should reflect on the recent death of Martin Sandberger. Martin Sandberger was born on August 17, 1911 in Brandenburg, Prussia, in the German Empire. A son of one of the directors of the chemical and pharmaceutical company IG Farben. In 1932, he joined the Nazi Party and eventually made his way into the Special Police, where he worked his way up to the rank of colonel. He was responsible for the murder of thousands of Jews and the deportation of tens of thousands more. He was brought to trial at Nuremberg and was eventually sentenced to life in prison. He was released from prison on January 9th, 1958, and has comfortably led a free life since then. He died, by all accounts, peacefully in his sleep just the other day. That is a death that should have been given to his victims, not to a monster like Martin Sandberg. Affordable Care Act by Sean Fischbach. On March 23rd, the President signed the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act into law after a very slim majority in the House of Representatives. The largest part of this bill is an attempt to fine anyone who does not have health insurance, regardless of the reason. The bill would also require all employers to cover birth control to all employees without thought or care to the personally held beliefs of either employer or employee. The bill also seeks to create a public forum in which insurance companies would have to take even very sick people and try to compete for their business, which is a clear attempt by the government to restrict the free market. Due to these issues, and many others, 14 states have announced plans to sue the federal government over the bill, alleging it violates several articles of the Constitution. These states are Virginia, Florida, South Carolina, Nebraska, Texas, Utah, Alabama, Michigan, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Washington, Idaho, and South Dakota. We here at the Daily Herald hope that New Jersey will soon add its voice to those 14 other states. We will keep you updated as this story continues. Citizens for Order, Decency, and Ethics by Hugo Potter. The mayor of Freedom City is Franklin Moore, and he has occupied that seat since 1996, with the next election coming in 2012. This entire time, his main political base has been centered around a single grassroots movement called Citizens for Order, Decency, and Ethics, or CODE for short. For a long time, CODE has been a local political action group, but as we go into the midterm elections, CODE is throwing its support behind John Runnan for New Jersey's 3rd House of Representatives seat. With CODE being the bedrock of freedom politics for so long, it is only fair that we write an in-depth piece on the group. CODE is led by Mrs. Wilhelmina Fredericks, a concerned mother whose son David was killed in 1994 during a fight between Force Ops and the Negator. At the end of the fight, the Negator exploded and took many people with him, including including David Fredericks, a 17-year-old star student at Hanover High School. This event led Mrs. Fredericks to start creating a community of people who had been wronged by this city and its so-called protectors. Just over a year later, when Franklin Moore began his mayoral bid, he found an organization pushing for improvements on public safety and immorality. Chief among their concerns was the activities of the lawless vigilantes that even then plagued our city. Code is a strong supporter of the Moore Act, and it is believed that they had a hand in writing it. It is known that before the act was presented to the city council, Mayor Moore and Mrs. Fredericks had a number of meetings, and she is still a frequent sight in the mayor's office. Any time a Moore Act violation comes up in the courts, Code launches a campaign in the streets and on TV, radio, and newspapers, including this publication, pushing for the harshest sentencing they can get. And with how often our masked, so-called heroes hurt those they claim to protect, it is hard to disagree with Code. Code also frequently holds picnics and other fundraisers for the Freedom City Police Department, including one next Sunday in Liberty Park. This will be a barbecue that is available to any member of the public for $20. There will be a small fair there with tickets for sale. Code enjoys broad support throughout all of Freedom City, and it is estimated that its members make up 13% of all votes in Freedom City, with its influence making up another 26% of the voting public. It is also notable that most of the donations that keep the group running come in amounts that are generally smaller than $25, with the group emphasizing how much even $1 donated can help the cause. The up-and-coming Tea Party faction of the Republican Party is muddling itself off of Code in many ways, attempting to be a broad grassroots movement with many small donors rather than a few large donors. As of yet, Code has neither publicly supported nor condemned the Tea Party. Thank you for joining me for this reading of the Daily Herald, and tune in next time for the next entry of The Pugilist.